We can start this question here by realizing that we have a right triangle with sides, legs of 3 and 4. So this is a nice, easy 3, 4, 5 triangle. The 3, 4, 5 and the 5, 12, 13 right triangles are the two Pythagorean triples that you want to know by heart. So now to find NQ, we have to know the two special rules for the altitude to the hypotenuse of a right triangle. Now, an altitude starts at one of the vertices of a triangle and hits the opposite side at a right angle. That's what an altitude is. So there are some special rules for the altitude to the hypotenuse of a right triangle. In the situation on the left, if we split these segments into A, B, and C, the rule that we refer to as the T rule looks like this. A over B equals B over C. And it looks like a T when you kind of draw it out. A over B equals B over C. Now, the other one we refer to as a Nike swoosh rule, because when you draw it out, it looks like a Nike swoosh. Let's just imagine that we have A, B, C, and let's call this D. But the Nike swoosh can be drawn out if you start at the place where the hypotenuse of the overall triangle gets split, and then you go toward one of the legs. B over A equals A over the whole hypotenuse, B plus C. B over A equals A over B plus C. You can also do the swoosh in the other direction. The big rule is that you start where the hypotenuse gets split. C over D equals D over B plus C. So C over D equals D over the whole hypotenuse, B plus C. So in this question, let's call this X and call this Y. Using the Nike swoosh rule to the left, we start where the hypotenuse gets split, and we can say X over 3 equals 3 over the whole hypotenuse, 5. X over 3 equals 3 over 5. Cross multiplying that, we get 5x is 9. X is 9 over 5. Now let's do the swoosh in the other direction. Y over 4 equals 4 over the whole hypotenuse, 5. Y over 4 equals 4 over 5. Cross multiply, 5y equals 16. Divide by 5, y is 16 over 5. So we've now figured out X and Y. If we label the altitude itself Z, we can use the T rule. That's going to tell us that X over Z equals Z over Y. And that's the easier rule. But we know X and we know Y, so let's fill them in. 9 over 5 over Z equals Z over 16 over 5. Cross multiplying, Z times Z equals 9 over 5 times 16 over 5. Now, I'm not going to multiply this out because it's actually better if you don't. If you take the square root of both sides, you get Z equals the square root of 5 times 5, which is 5. And on the top, the square root of 9 times 16, which is 3 times 4. So in other words, we took the square root before multiplying because it made it easier. And what do we end up with? 12 over 5, which is 2.4, which, believe it or not, is answer choice C.